Hello, everyone. So, for this week's discussion, I wanted to first start off by talking about the first part of the prompt here, and that is what concept have we covered that has been the most important? And to me, that has been emotional intelligence, just because I've been kind of realizing how like critical it is, and just the more you think about it, the more it shows up and it applies to your day-to-day life, things you reason in, your interactions, things like that. But I was also wanting to, or I was a little more curious about if you take that blanket like emotional intelligence and go kind of a step down into parenting. I was wondering, how does parenting play a role in that? And I think it plays a big role. I just want to discover the relationship between those because it doesn't seem super easy based on my experiences to just change your emotional intelligence, your behavioral reactions to situations. And again, I was curious, how does parenting affect that, and what might that look like? So there's that. And the concept I thought that has been I don't know, the one I've blown over the most, least important to me, would be hemispheric lateralization. And that's because I feel you don't really need to understand it in your day-to-day life. Like sure, it's important, um, but it's just really doesn't occur all that often. I was originally thinking of choosing another topic, but then I had thought, wow, there's actually way more situations where I encounter this than not. And so I had to move on. And then I was thinking about hemispheric lateralization, and I realized, again, it just doesn't seem to have too much importance in my daily life and doesn't affect how I interact. It's good knowledge, but it's not something that needs to be dove in really deep into unless you're in a very specific case. I think it's important. And who knows, maybe that'll all come back to me, but that's what I think of that for now. And the one I was most confused about, but mostly curious, but a little bit of both, was the general adaptation syndrome. I'd really never broken down the concept like that before or seen it laid out in front of me. And so I was just wanting to learn more about it, and more particularly, like the exact processes your body goes through, like what hormones are released here and then, or how does your central nervous system change during this stage versus that? And that was what I wanted to explore a little further. And with that, I think that covers everything. I'd love to go into all these topics, but those are the few that kind of stood out to me the most. And yeah, I think that's all I got. Thanks.